Hey, what's ready? My name's Elijah. I'm here with an episode of Elijah Plays Minecraft. And today, we're going to be doing a tutorial on a combat system. Now, as you might have just seen, this is going to be able to work for mobs. It's going to be able to work for players as well. I'll show you that later. It can work any way you want. It's going to be very simple to integrate into whatever system you want, whether you want it to be with mobs, players, just one, or both, whatever you want. It'll be very easy to do. Let me just show you real quick. Attacking makes you go in combat. If I don't attack for a while or don't get hit for a while, it will go out of combat. Pretty simple. You can do whatever you want with that, and just get right into the video. Now, first up, we're going to need a process, and you can call it whatever you want. In this case, I'm going to call it start combat because that's what it's going to be for. So right here, we are using an if statement to test if the variable %default combat is equal to 0, meaning that they're not in combat. And then if it is equal to 0, we send a message saying you are now in combat. Right after that, we're going to be using a set variable to set %default combat equal to 150. Now this will happen regardless of if they were already in combat or not. That way it will always reset whenever this is called. This is in ticks, so if you want it to be more than 150 ticks, you just have to increase this and that will work. Next up, we're going to be setting up a basic forever loop on join. All you have to do is player event join, repeat forever, and wait for 1 tick. Next up, inside of the repeat, we're going to be testing if %default combat is greater than 0, and if it is, we're going to decrement that variable. Now inside of that statement, we're going to be saying if default combat equals 0, meaning it's hit the bottom, it's going to send a message saying you are no longer in combat. Now this next part is going to be for damaging players and player combat basically. This is, if you don't want this, you don't put this in. You can skip to the mob part. But basically what we're going to be doing is selecting object, players by condition, and then player by name. So basically we put the %victim in that chest and we put the %default in that chest. So it's going to get both players and put them into combat using the process. Now in the process, make sure you're using the target mode for each in selection. So it will run for both of those players. Now this next part is going to be for mobs and entities. So in this case, we're going to be using player event damage entity and player event entity damage player. Now, you don't need to use any select objects, you actually only just have to call the process, and you can leave all the tags by their defaults. Now here's an example of the player. I hit him, I go into combat, and so does he. After a little bit of time, it's going to say, you are no longer in combat. Now, here's the mob example. He hits me, I'm now in combat. We give it a second, and I'm no longer in combat. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss this content in the future.